Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Hello and welcome to Footy Judge Mo people. Big up everybody that is here, that is waiting. Apologies for being a little bit late. Of course, it is my fault. No, it's Dan Potts' fault. He was the late one. It's Potts' fault. Big up everybody that is here. Listen, we're here to review Arsenal because there's a lot of discussions out there about Arteta. Should he be given a contract? Should not? What about the transfer? A lot of players are fighting for their place next season with Arsenal, of course. From the Emma Smith Rowe, the Zinchenko's, the Gabriel Jesus, and all these people. They are fighting for a place in the Arsenal team next year. That is supposedly must win the league next season because it's a win or bust. That's what people are saying. And other people are saying progress is key. We're happy with the journey. It's about the friends we make along the journey. And it's about all the memories and all the stuff. So opinions differ, of course. But everyone that is here, hit that like button. Of course, subscribe to the channel. If you are new, already 100 people here right off the bat. So hit that like button, people. Subscribe to the channel. I'm here with a great lineup with different opinions, of course, about the review, the season, and the future of Arsenal, of course. And big up, Dan Potts is here, of course. 12-man podcast is here with us. Appreciate you, Dan. Thank you so much for joining. Hope everything is well. Lee Judge is making his debut on the channel, of course. Big up, Lee. Thank you so much. With both channels are in the description, of course. You got to go give them a subscription. Like this video first if you are here. And if you're watching this on the replay, hit that like button. Get it done, and then we can enjoy. And then Martin is here, a regular, of course, with us here, of course. And Capo, I think not making his debut on the channel, has been here before, but big up Capo for joining. And how is everybody feeling this morning? How's everybody? Everybody good?
All good, all good.
All is roses, all is roses. Dímelo, mi gente.
I want to get people's opinion about the season, like just in general. Before we go into specifics and talk about what happened in the season, I'm gonna start with Lee. How did you review the season, assess this season? You're happy with what happened. You're proud of the team. You congratulate the team, or you're not one that congratulate the team that haven't won a league. How do you assess the season?
No, very, very proud of the team and what we've achieved this season. Unfortunately, not quite good enough to get us over the line. If I've got one criticism of Arsenal, is probably their home form's let us down. If I've been really honest, if you look at City, 3 defeats all the way from home, none at home, and that's what we've got to strive for. That's got to be the improvement. If we would have been better at the Emirates, and you can't ask for a better atmosphere at the Emirates, so I look at that and think, right, well, you've got the best, one of the best atmospheres in the Premier League. The crowd are completely behind you. We've got to be a little bit more ruthless at home. There's a few defeats in there as well as a few draws. And I look at that, if you get one win out of a Villa or a West Ham, which you should win, we're looking at a different thing. But all in all, we pushed a very, very good team all the way to the end. And I get an out if people are saying, win the league. He's got to win the league next year, So, who's won the league for the last 4 years? So it's not easy. It's not easy to do. Jurgen Klopp 1 in 9. But if I do look at it, that where we need to improve, I think we need to start doing a little bit better in the cups as well. I think that would be my disappointment this season, that we should have beaten Liverpool, but we didn't. Miss chances again. Went out of the cup at home. I think if you look at the Bayern Munich game again, where was the performance that let us down at home? So for me, that is something that Mikel's got to look at next season and make sure that he gets right. And I'm pretty sure they'll be looking at that and thinking, right, how can we improve on our home form? But for me, push them all the way this season. But we've got to start winning a few trophies. But as I say, I don't know who's in the Champions League, who's favourites for the Champions League. I suppose it would have been City and then Real Madrid, who knocks out City, Real Madrid. So to get into that elite thing, it's going to be tough. Bayern Munich, by the way, give Real Madrid a real good game, as we did with them. So nearly there. We're nearly there. I see progress, but I think Mikel said a great thing, be proud but not satisfied, and I think that's how I feel.
And I get what this whole, that's the thing about it, is that when you put it how Lee put it, It looks like a great speech. You know what I mean? Fantastic. You know what I mean? I'm serious. Like, I'm not an Arsenal fan. You look from outside, you're like, it's a fantastic speech. They're nearly there, right? But it's the same as last season. And like, if I play devil's advocate here, it's the same exact speech last season. Exact same one.
No, last speech was different. Last speech, we fell off the cliff like Liverpool did this season. And I think people forget about Liverpool in this title race. They were leading this thing. Like, there was a good chance we were never going to catch them. And we were all like, well, I don't see Liverpool dropping points. They're just destroying teams. And then, boom, disappeared. And now we just analyze compared to Man City. And I've done a few shows with you this year, Mo, remembering back to Christmas and stuff like that. I didn't imagine we'd go on a 16 out of 18 game winning streak and draw against Man City and still not win the title. Like, even in the last 10 games, we were like, Man City's going to drop points somewhere. They're going to drop points somewhere. They're going to, actually, we were wrong. It wasn't good enough. So, I don't know. We've got to look at it and not be, like, satisfied, as judges were saying. But I think we've got back into the Champions League to a level which was kind of the bare minimum. I think everyone was expecting to get to at least quarterfinals or semifinals. And I think, not being satisfied is good for this team. I think they need to stay hungry and chase down a lot more. But I'm not going to do a big summary.
You're not. What do you think, Dan, about this season in terms of, like, why the fine margins went City's way? Because I keep asking this question. Why the fine margins keep going Man City's way?
I think, if I'm honest, as much as I do think we've had a really good season in terms of pushing Manchester City all the way, I do not blame Arteta in respect of get him out. But the reason that I feel that we have fallen short does come down still to some of his game management. And I'm not saying that's a sackable offence. I'm saying that is why he's still learning. He's got to stop sometimes with his stubbornness. I think when Havertz has proven after Dubai how good he is at number 9, why'd you drop him back in midfield against Villa and Bayern and ruin the season? Because that's essentially what happened. We went out to Bayern Munich and we lost to Aston Villa. Beat Aston Villa, we win the league. So I think it is fine margins, and I think that's where Pep does not do what Arteta does. And we're talking about the best in my opinion. Some people disagree. The best I've ever seen is Pep Guardiola. He is the best. I think he's better than Sir Alex Ferguson. I think he's changed football across Europe, not just in England. I think it's ridiculous how good this guy is, right? But I look at it and I think that we disrespected the domestic cups again, which I'm really frustrated about. And people laugh at people who win the Carabao Cup or the League Cup. I don't, because for me, the League Cup I grew up on winning. If you ask George Graham what he thinks of the League Cup, he doesn't want to chuck it in the bin. Neither does Tony Adams, Paul Merson, Martin Keown. None of those guys wanted to throw it in the bin. But for some reason, we want to. Now, winning breeds confidence, Mo, and you can win a trophy in February and then push on. That's why Pep wins it pretty much every single year. Now, like this season, he didn't, was because the Club World Cup got in the way and he was like, you know what, let's just get out of it so we can win this because it's more important. He's already got 9 of them, whatever the hell it is he's won, right? So for me, winning breeds confidence. So I think that is the only thing. Now, people might think
we threw it in the bin just before you go on? Do you think we selected teams that weren't good enough, or the players
against West Ham? Against West Ham, Martin, I do. We were 3-0 down and he brought on Rice, Martinelli, Ødegaard and Saka. I mean, what are you doing, man? Just start them and bring them off. Like, why are you bringing them on now? We're 3-0 down.
Carabao? That was a Carabao, right?
Carabao, yeah. The FA Cup one, I think the FA Cup...
Can I interject then? The board hired the guy, and this is something, they knew he's learning on the job. And he's learning. And they knew that. But you guys, the problem then is that every time you talk, me and you talk then, probably weekly twice, here on 12-Man Podcast, and you treat Arteta like he is this guy who has been coaching for a while. He is learning on the job. He's a new manager. And the board knew this. But some of the fan base don't give him that leeway. He's learning. He's not. I'm sorry. Pep has years. Klopp has years, miles, a body of work with other clubs. He doesn't.
He is learning 100%. He is, and he still is. And he's not a novice anymore. People think he's a novice. He's not a novice. He's got 5 years now of experience, and he's got to learn. And he has learned, to be fair, quickly on the job. But there's still more that he's got to learn. And this is why people had question marks about going for someone who's never had a job before. You know, because people like to compare him to Sir Alex Ferguson. It took him 4 years to win with Man United. Yeah, but he had previous experience and won with Aberdeen. Klopp, he's new. It's taken Klopp 4 years. Yeah, he won with Dortmund and Mainz. Like, this is the problem we've got with Mikel Arteta, is that this is his first job. So you're right, Mo. The board and the ownership are part of this as well. So when people say to me, what about Arteta? They don't mention the Cronkies and the board. No, this is all together now. And that's what's good in a way. That's the good thing about it. It's a positive thing. It's all together. But it's also the bad thing as well, because you can't say, I don't really like Arteta, but I kind of like Edu and the Kroenke. They're all together, like, for me. This is Kroenke's project. Edu does the players together with Arteta, and they're responsible for what happens on the pitch. And that's what Mikel Arteta is about. If you talk about the atmosphere and everything off the pitch, I've been a massive, massive fan of it. And it's probably the only praise I've consistently given them year in, year out. When it comes to the pitch, I still see some question marks and some concerns. The one thing I will not agree with, though, this season, with Man City fans and all the other rival fans that want to try and take a dig at Arsenal, we did not lose the league at the Etihad. That's bullshit for me, right? People that want to tell me, like, Rodri comes out, well, you know, and I saw today on the overlap, Gary Neville was like, yeah, well, Overmars and Wiltord, they won it at Old Trafford. They killed us off. Why didn't Man City kill us off then at the Etihad? Why didn't Man City go, tell you what, we'll take 3 points and now Arsenal are out of the title race? So no one's looked at it in that perspective. We lost the league against the likes of Fulham and Villa, where we couldn't beat them home and away, not Manchester City by drawing at the Etihad. Let's just get that right, because that does make no sense to me whatsoever. It's as if Manchester City fans and all the rival fans want to have a bit of a dig and go, they still couldn't beat us, could they? Think they're great and all this crap. Like, let's just get it right. If we would have won that game, fair play. They've got a good point. They make it like easy. When was the last time they lost at the Etihad? January 2022.
You know that's bullshit. You know that's a dig at the Arsenal fans, not
Bati,
the Arsenal
I
fans.
understand.
Yeah.
I hear all that. And I would say that, yes, we didn't lose it at Man City, but this is the reason why I wanted to go ahead and go toe-to-toe with Man City. I've said it on Footy Judge Mo before. I knew that against the top six, we were spot on this year. We did what we had to do, right? Win at home and go ahead and get a point away. So what made me feel that I needed to go toe-to-toe at Man City was, first and foremost, to go ahead and push us on, to go ahead and give the boys confidence that we could go ahead and see some more pins at the end of the season. But at the same time, I'm looking at the rest of the fixtures, knowing that those aren't going to be easy games either. So the performance for me, we just did a defensive masterclass. Let's just put it how it is. 1-0 to the Arsenal.
Do you know what,
I
Capo?
expected, but I wanted the 3 points, because I knew we were going to drop points elsewhere, and it showed against Aston Villa. So for me, I would agree that we didn't lose it at Man City. We lost it in other games, but this is why I wanted those 3 points against Man City.
No, I think you're. I think you could.
But you know what, Capo?
You are one of the people. Sorry, Dan. A lot of people said Arteta doesn't have a plan B. Arteta doesn't know how to play. And then when you got smashed last season, everyone complained. Now he goes to Man City, defends very well, limit Man City, and create about 3 chances to go on the counter-attack, which is a way of playing football. And people say, why didn't you go for it? If he went for it, you would have gone and smashed. And then people would say, why did you do it? There is no winning.
Can I just make a small point? I know Dan was going to say something, but Liverpool, when they got 97 points, they would have been invincible and won the league if they just got a draw at Man City. They lost 2-1. So these are the fine margins which are going to define between winning the Premier League and not. And we'd lost there 15 times in a row or something like that. Something crazy. I don't know. We have to snap the streak.
This is an amazing result. It's an amazing result. 19 coaches out of the 19 that are going to play Pep. If you tell them before the season, are you going to go to the Etihad and take a point? They'll tell you, I'll take it now. Before even the season starts.
Yeah.
No matter who you are, bro.
Like, when we left that game, I did my fan cam AFTV, because I did the watch along for that game. And I said, that's a potential missed opportunity, right? That is different to saying we lost the league at that ground. Excuse me. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So it's a missed opportunity to beat Manchester City and put the pressure on, but that doesn't mean you're going to go and win the league. Yeah, if you beat them. Now it turns out now that it would have been the case, but at the time we didn't know that. Now people that said we went there, we parked the bus, we didn't really look like winning. We had great chances in that game. Trossard crosses that ball to Martinelli. He's through 1-on-1, and he's not missing. Jesus should have scored in that game. They had chances. Nathan Ake missed an absolute sitter of a header. So this wasn't like oh my God, Man City were peppering Arsenal's goal and they just didn't want to win. Actually, look at the game again. Arsenal could have won that game 1-0 quite comfortably on a different day. So I don't really get this, oh my God, Man City was so good and Arsenal didn't even try and all this rubbish. That is not why we lost the title, in my opinion. Big up to Nobbins in the chat, man. But I look at it and I just feel like there's games against West Ham at home that I will look at more. Fulham home and away that I'll look at more. And obviously Aston Villa at home when it was in our hands as well. That's the one. People will say Villa's hard to beat. Yeah, but it's at home, in your hands. Win that game, win the rest of your games, you win the league. And I just remember losing that game at Villa, coming out and speaking to Robbie and going, Manchester City had just lost the league and just won the league, and Arsenal and Liverpool have lost it. And everyone around me is like, what? This guy's crazy. This guy's crazy. That's not going to happen. Manchester City will drop points. I'm like, they're not going to. They're going to win every single game. That's why we needed to win today. And let's go what happened. They went and won every single game. And I just knew that was going to happen, man. That's why when people were looking at the Tottenham game like, oh, getting giddy for it, they're going to hammer them. I was surprised they didn't hammer them by more. So this is what Man City do, man. And Liverpool fans are all texting me going, you've just thrown the league away, man. I know how this works. We've been here 3 times. We know what happens. You've just lost the league. And so have we. I was like, yeah, you're right. And it turns out that we have. So that's how fine margins it is, man. But we've got to get better.
I mean, our December, look at our December compared to theirs. They didn't lose a game in, since December. So if you look at, listen, I got to give it up to the boys. I mentioned a lot about not mentality monsters. I was calling them mentality marvels. You know what I mean? Because I think I definitely saw a different skin, from the boys this season. Saw a lot of, together in the group, and that to me was important. And you showed definitely starting from the back. Obviously trusting Raya and putting him and overcoming all that criticism with Ramsdale and Raya was important. And then you put in a player like Rice in front of the defensive duo that we have. It was only bound to happen, right? And for me, defensively, I see that we can go ahead and win the game. Mo, like you said, you mentioned me as one of those people. I'm not sure what you were referring to, but I did see this season that we have a plan A, B, and C. And we can go out to win a game defensively as we were all accustomed to. Lee, you could go ahead and tell me more than what I've seen in the Graham days. But for me, playing at a decent level, collegiate, professionally for a bit in Colombia, it was one of those where I just wanted to see a different Arsenal going to Man City. If Man City is the team that you want to emulate, then you have to go ahead and just take everything. Take what's yours. And I felt that would have been the tipping point for us to go ahead and challenge. Now, listen, it is what it is. We came second again. We're called the Gunners, but looking at the amount of times that we've come in second in the, just let alone in the Premier League, we can also be called, the runners, because we keep on running, runners up. And it's another season coming in second place. We got 13 trophies winning the league, and we have come in second place 11 times. What are we going to do? The same thing next year? So, yes, we're close. Yes, it's progress. I'd be stupid to say that I haven't seen positive from this squad this year. But at the same time, it's one of those where you have now a team that you brought in new players. Arteta goes ahead and, changes Havertz at the wrong time. That to me is naive. You know what I mean? So I can't applaud him for that. We saw in the beginning of the season, Havertz didn't work in the midfield. So you want to go ahead and put your hopes in Nketiah and not use him. You go ahead and bring in Fabio, not use him. We have ESR. I'm not sure what was going on with ESR, but I'm a big fan. But we haven't seen him. So what's the point of having soldiers if you can't use them in the battlefield? That's my thing. You go ahead and rely on Saka all season, and then we don't get to see him in the final game of the season. And then you're looking over at Man City to see what they're doing, and you have a Foden that's just wants to win. So, listen, I think we're closing the gap on Man City, which is all good and great. But until I see trophies, it's not good enough. Going out of the Carabao Cup, going out of the FA Cup, at least the FA Cup. I remember seeing the 16, 17-year-olds going ahead and going into semifinals. And at least it was a lot closer than what we're getting now. So just like Man City, where I felt we needed to go ahead and show the world what we were about, we kind of, Arteta made that game plan. We're going to be defensively sound, which is all good and great, but we did miss chances, and that's something that we can go ahead and look at for the entire season. We missed a lot of chances in those games that we lost. which is why I've been begging for a center, a center forward, a striker. So until we get that elite $100 million striker, because we finally covered the CDM position in Rice, even though I think he's going to be better as an 8. We got the defensive duo. We got a Raya that won the Golden Glove. We're, I think, one player down the spine to going ahead and doing it again. But coming runner-up, man, I'm just tired of it, bro. I can't applaud it. I didn't even watch the game at the end of the last game because I knew winners are always going to go ahead and do what they have to do. And having a Rodri that hasn't lost a game in a year, he was very cheeky and calling us out and saying that, we didn't do what we had to do at Man City. It is what it is, bro. I don't worry about him. But just goes to show that unless we have a squad of 16, 17 players that we can go ahead and use throughout the season, we're not going to have.
But you did. That's what the people keep saying. The bench is not good enough. Sorry, let me just do this couple of things because Yemi here is saying a novice manager pushing the greatest manager of all time to the last game and within 2 points is massive. We go again next year. My question to you, Yemi, what if next year you get 95 points and you come second again and you get to the final of the Champions League? Is that all right? That is the argument that I can't. Anybody that asks me this, because I sit here and defend Arteta a lot because I think Arteta is great. But and then big up Lee, of course, guys. Big up Lee Gunner in the chat, of course. Predefined fact-based metrics is trophy. We don't need options. The fact-based metrics has been there since 1875.
Big up Lil G. Big up Lee.
He's right though. But at the end, who else gives Arsenal a better option next season with these players? Arteta.
I think the interesting thing about Arsenal is it's very hard to separate our club issues from the manager issues. I think the manager is trying to fix a lot of problems which became intrinsic at this club over Wenger's, long save money time career. We end up with players like that we have to keep to try and retain some value in, but we can't trust on the biggest stage. Like subbing on Eddie Nketiah in the quarterfinal of the Champions League when you need a goal away to Bayern Munich, I just laughed. I was like, how is he supposed to work with these tools? But in the same breath, we'll say, well, we don't rest Saka enough. Like we need to rotate this team more. But if we do rotate in the Carabao Cup, for example, we might get knocked out. So, I grew up with Wenger treating these cups with a little bit of disdain. He'd play the youngest possible kids and say, go out there, and if you win, we'll keep going through. And then, he wouldn't even win them in the end because we'd still play the kids in the final or something. So I think Arteta's trying to change a lot of problems that sort of crept into this club, just a little bit of like complacency. And over time, I expect that to change. If we get 95 points in final of Champions League, I think that's an incredible season, regardless of who you're up against. I think
regardless of winning or not winning.
I just think you've got to be like absolutely real about how hard that challenge is.
Before we go on, over 500 people here. Can we get guys the likes to 300? Hit that like button. Big up. I know Lee wants to. He's gonna argue all day. Mo, different standards for Inter though. You wanted Inzaghi sacked for losing to Atletico Madrid. He is won how much exactly? Now you're waffling about a manager who's won nothing in 4 years. I argued this. Big up. I argued this with Northside yesterday on his channel. If there is a manager out there now that someone tell me he has a better chance with these players, I'm not an Arsenal fan, but I'll tell you yes. But I don't think, if you ask me Thomas Tuchel and Mikel Arteta at Inter, I'm taking Mikel Arteta, right? And people said Antonio Conte is the only one, and I think Antonio Conte, I'm sorry, Dan, this is my opinion, even for my club. And Northside asked me this question.
You want Mikel Arteta over Thomas Tuchel? You just
100%. You can ask me anything, and I will answer it honestly, 100%.
Wow, why is that?
Do you imagine if Arsene Wenger done what Thomas Tuchel done in the semi-final against Bayern?
No, forget that, Ali. There's another option about. There's another opinion about this. There's another opinion. I'll tell you why. Then, I believe to build a team.
I think people underrate Tuchel. That's all.
I don't like him.
Danny, he's a top manager, to be honest.
He make mistakes.
I'm not saying the guy doesn't make mistakes and he's invincible. I'm just saying, look at his CV, man, and look at Arteta's. I'm just surprised you'd go with Arteta over Tuchel. That's all.
Yeah.
Talking about comparing CVs and talking about novice and experience and all that, nobody's mentioning what Xabi Alonso has done, and he
but couple. This is what some the Arsenal fans fail to say. If Xabi Alonso, right, is available tomorrow and you're going to sack Arteta and get Xabi Alonso, you might take that risk. The problem with someone like Thomas Tuchel, they might come in and completely destroy the body of work that Mikel Arteta did. Do you agree that Mikel Arteta had a body of work of 4 years building a team that everyone, right, including everyone that wants Arteta out, sit here and tell me, if we get a ready-made manager, we're going to win. Whose body of work is that? It's Edo, Arteta, and these guys, right? And the team is ready to compete for the next 4 or 5 years.
Is Alonso up against Manchester City and up against Pep? It might be a different story if he is.
Yeah, but by the way, based on the points, Lee, Xabi Alonso was on course to get more points than Man City in the Bundesliga now.
Yeah, but he's not playing in the Bundesliga, is he?
Yeah, but that's the point. We cannot. We don't have a measuring stick. We don't have a measuring stick about it.
If Manchester City were playing in the Bundesliga, they'd win everything and probably wouldn't lose a game either. They wouldn't. They just won the treble a year ago. You know.
So what you're saying is that it doesn't matter. So what you're saying, it's okay.
Why hasn't Alonso gone to Liverpool this year?
So it's okay to be second to Man City. Is it okay to be second?
Why hasn't he not gone to Liverpool this year?
Why do what?
Why has he not gone to Liverpool this year? Had the opportunity to go to Liverpool. Why has he not gone?
Because he's going to go Real Madrid the year after next.
That's how I'm feeling. I think he wants a Real Madrid job.
Right.
He wants a Real Madrid job. I believe so.
Why has he gone Real Madrid this year?
Because Ancelotti's still there and he did a good job.
Ancelotti renewed 1 more year.
Sliced bread. Go wherever he wants.
Maybe he wants to stay
lose out on the Real Madrid job just to go to Liverpool, knowing that he's going to put a body of work in
Real Madrid. Ancelotti's a fantastic manager, but he's an older manager. If Alonso says I want to come there, then they'd take him, wouldn't they? It doesn't work like that. You know what I mean? I think Alonso's very, very good, but he's also very, very shrewd. Very, very shrewd. He knows that if he goes to Liverpool, he ain't gonna beat Manchester City. He knows that.
So, gentlemen, it's fair to say that.
Hold on, couples. I want to understand Lee's point.
Go.
So you are from the school, Lee, that as long as you progress, but you're still going against Pep, it's all right. It's okay.
No, I'm not saying it's
enjoying
all right.
the journey.
You've got to try and beat them, and the way that they're doing it is very. You've got the best manager in the world, right? At the end of the day, you've got the best manager in the world. You've got they do what they want to do. Manchester City at this moment in time, and it is a juggernaut. It's a juggernaut. I'm telling you that they're a penalty kick away from winning the treble again this season. That's a fact. Who's favourites for the Champions League next season? Who do you think would be favourites?
Mbappe goes to Real Madrid.
Will it be Bayer Leverkusen? I don't think so. I don't think it'll be Real Madrid. There's only one team that's going to be the favourite. Right, and that's
Man City are favourites for everything. We know that.
Well, there you go. So it ain't easy.
Yeah, but at the same point, Lee, Man City were one-on-one away from Young-Min Son.
We're 2 points away.
Hold on, but 9 out of 10 times, you would bank on Young-Min Son scoring that one-on-one. Am I wrong? I'm not banking. I'm sorry. I'm not getting Van Dijk to score the one-on-one.
What's it got to do with Son?
Like they are not invincible.
What I'm telling you is that Manchester City are a penalty away from winning the treble again. They're going to go and probably win the double, right, at the end of it. And Arsenal have come 2 points clear behind them and took them all the way this season. No one else has done that. No one else has done that in the league. No one else. And at the end of the day, Real Madrid, I would say Champions League. He put out the Champions League next season. Or this season, who are the favourites for the Champions League? Manchester City, followed by Real Madrid. Who's in the final? Real Madrid. I'll tell you another thing. When people turn around...
I disagree with this.
People turn around and say he's got to win the league. He's got to win the league to win everything. You know what I mean? Arsenal, 138 years, right? They've been going. 13 times they've won the league, right? 138 years they've been going, never won the Champions League. Oh, you've got to win it. You've got to win it. You know what I mean? A bit of realism for it. It's not easy to win anything in this moment in time with Manchester City. I hear people criticising Arsenal, right, for not winning the league this season. What about is that because Manchester City are not good? Let's be honest. You're up against but they've just won 4 titles on the trot. 4 titles on the trot, right? But Arsenal are expected to win the league this season against a team that's won it 4 times on the trot. And probably, I don't know how many times is it, 7 out of the last 8 that they've won. I think it is that. Like, I think Liverpool got 1 as well, like, you know. But all of a sudden, we Arsenal Football Club, are the team that's expected to do it. Arsenal, Arteta is expected to do it. Not Man United, not Chelsea, not Liverpool.
Nobody else has the balls to do it. Let's be honest. Nobody is anywhere near there.
Easy.
And I get it. I didn't have expectations I didn't have expectations for us to do anything this year, to be honest with you. So the fact that we came this far, hey, kudos to them. But again, getting this close and not doing something about it is what bothers me even more. And people are going ahead and celebrate progress. We came 2 points now instead of all those drop points last year. You know, I'm taking a piss here. Where Martin has heard me here before in a group chat where we're going to go ahead next season and we're going to go to 4 finals. We're going to lose them all, and it's still considered progress. That's where I'm at. That's where this fan base is at. That's where he's going to stay here for another year, and we're going to go ahead and say, oh, now we really got to. Now we really have to win. No, man, we had to. If not this year, there's no excuses next year. That's it. Bring in who you have to bring in. If you don't do the work like we haven't done in January over the last seasons, do everything in this summer right now, because I feel Jesus bench, Zinchenko, if he says bench, Kai Havertz is not going to play unless we bring in that elite player. Bench. Right wing is for Jesus to come off the bench and do something when Saka needs a little rest. That's where I'm at. But until we do that, then, you know, I hear you, Lee. I hear you. All I want is for us to go ahead and win a trophy. I'm not talking about the Champions League. I was realistic. I didn't think, looking at the Porto performance, I knew we were going to go through. That's a fact. I thought that we had a better chance to go ahead and get a result against Bayern, but we didn't. We shit the bed on that. It is what it is. It was our first season back in the Champions League. I get it. But for me, it's another gunner coaster of a season. We're almost there. Everybody gets giddy, and then everybody goes ahead.
But we haven't. You say another, but we haven't got close before. Like people think that this is like a repeat incident, but we've got as close as we've ever got to like 90 points. Besides the Invincibles, we've won 28 games in a season. We've never done that before, and I don't think people are able to be logical about this discussion anymore, because we've been doing this Arteta in and out thing for about 4.5 years now. And I've watched streams with Dan Potts and Lee, and they've both been very adamant that Arteta had to go. And I think the only thing that Arteta has earned this time is just a chance for everyone to just put their weapons down and go, okay, you've shown us what you can do. Now get it done. And if everyone can just be like, okay, we're not going to attack him. We're not going to try and get him sacked. Like even before the Liverpool game, what was it, in February? People were talking, I was on the stream with Mo, and we're talking about who are we going to replace Arteta with. That was in the middle of a massive win streak. So it's impossible to be like impartial and logical about this. Everyone's coming at it from their own opinions and their own original starting points. But hopefully we can find a way to just be like, okay, this is your chance. You're going to have this summer. You're going to have another 100 million, 200 million to spend. Let's go get something big. And look, we've got 0 UCLs and we haven't won the league in 20 years, and people will tell us that all the time. But at the same time, people are like, you're Arsenal, you're a massive club. You should be competing every year with Real Madrid and Man City.
You're not mentioning the
that?
Carabao Cup and the FA Cup. You're not mentioning those other 2.
I don't mention those because they can't change our scenario.
Who won the FA Cup last year? Who's in the cup final this year?
Man City.
Who's going to win the cup this year? And listen, everybody's got an opinion. I don't think that people are wrong, by the way, to want Mikel Arteta gone if that's what they feel. You know what I mean? Like even now, I didn't want. I'll be honest that when he was losing games and all, I didn't think he was the right man for the job. But he at this moment of time, I feel that we're in a better position than we've ever been for a very, very long while. But at the end of the day, if people want to change him for a better manager, then great. You know what I mean? Like I get that. Who, you know, like if you was in charge today, or the people who are in charge today, who are you going to get to get us over the line? That's a good question. Like bring. It's all right saying get rid of him. Who are you going to bring in?
The thing is, what we all know what's going to happen. He's going to sign a new deal and he's going to be here for a few years. We all know that is what's going to happen. What do we want to happen? What do we think to happen? Everyone's different on that. For me, 90% Pep goes 2025. 90% Carlo Ancelotti goes from Real Madrid 2025. Arteta gets next year for me. Win or we get Carlo in. And Carlo wins us without Pep Guardiola.
I could do that.
That's what I would do.
I could do that all day. I could do that all day, my friend. And this is why I'm saying runners up is all good and well. But if he's going to be the last year here, he has to win something. And then he's off. Because if it's not the league,
what was that? Come on, Lee. No.
Dan, what did he win at Everton?
All right, let's tell you what he did. I'll tell you what he did at Everton.
You've got to have the players to win games of football as well.
No. Yeah, no, I get that. I get that. Right.
That's what I'm saying, like, you know what I mean? It's no good just saying, yeah, I'll get what you're saying with Carlo Ancelotti. I think he's a fantastic manager. Why is he successful?
Best players.
Because
he was never going to win it. He was never going to win at Everton. He was never going to win at Everton. But I'll tell you what he did. He finished 3 points behind Arteta. Look at Everton now, since he's gone. Just about staying up.
He also pieced out and left them in a terrible financial situation.
Of course he did, because he went for the bigger job, which is what he was obviously going to do. You're going to go to Real Madrid, aren't you? You're going to go and better your career instead of staying at Everton. But he's been at Napoli, he's been at Everton, he would 100% come to Arsenal. For me, that's the sort of manager that has got a CV that says I can get you across the line. And do you know what he's walking into at Arsenal? Bloody good team. A bloody good team.
I'll tell you who's
I don't think Ancelotti wins the league.
Manager Arsenal should get, right? I'll tell you this now, right? Say if Arsenal were to get a new manager in a year's time.
Yes.
Jurgen Klopp, right, would be the one, right? Yeah.
Okay.
But how many titles has he won against this Manchester?
But let me ask you something, Lee. Sorry. Do you think Jurgen Klopp gives you a better chance with this team than Arteta? Because that's the whole point, guys, about hiring a new manager. Everything is a risk.
Manager. He's an elite manager. I don't think Liverpool would have finished anywhere near they would have done if they with the players that they've got now.
I agree.
think Jurgen Klopp has given them an extra 10 points, if you like. They was playing 5 or 6 games in January under pressure with kids because they had no players to play with. Jurgen Klopp, I think, is a fantastic manager. And at the end of the day, I'll tell you something about Jurgen Klopp. When his 2 centre halves ain't playing, he's had to play a centre half in the Championship. He's had to do like one. Pep hasn't had to do that. Pep signed at Aki, and then 2 weeks later, he said, "You know what? I don't think he's good enough. I need somebody else," and went and signed Diaz. That's the difference. You know what I mean? But for me, Jurgen Klopp would be, I think Jurgen Klopp could probably take it. But you have to say with Jurgen Klopp, I think that the team that he had 3, 4, 5 years ago, Marnie,
Salah, Firmino, Henderson, Fabinho, all these guys.
And right prime Mo Salah didn't win against them for so many years. It's a bloody difficult job. That's all I'm saying. You know what I mean? I can't emphasise it enough. Liverpool in their prime with Mo Salah, who's well.
I agree.
So
I agree, Lee.
Do it.
The only thing
we can't say that. Dan. We can't just sit here and. So teams in there are rumors that Pep might stay until 2027, and there are rumors that he leaves 2025.
Yeah, but then they're going to get somebody else, Mo, who's just as good as
but my point is it okay? People just should accept that you try. It's okay to try, but if you don't win it, you don't win it. Or would you take? Okay, my point. But you have 2 options, guys. Let me ask the question. You have 2 options here, guys. Okay, you have 2 options. Stick with the guy that you know that is doing entertainment, that is progressing every year, or take a risk with someone else that might win it. What would you do? That is the question. Take a risk with someone else.
Arteta since day one that he has to show that he is progressing constantly. If he goes backwards, we can't afford to keep taking a chance with him. But I said this before, the amount of people that can challenge Pep in the managerial sense is probably 4 or 5 managers. And some of those are on the way out of the game, right? And we've got one who actually knows how club. He can challenge Pep, and he is our captain or our ex-captain. He won trophies for us. And no other club in world football can say that they've got someone who actually knows the culture of the club and can also be at the very top of the tree in the Premier League. So I think what I'm hoping for is everyone can go, all right, yes, the pressure is on. He has to deliver, but we can kind of not keep attacking him every day. That's what I said. I hope for.
The other big issue.
Martino, who's attacked Arteta though? I mean, I think anybody being in this position.
Come on.
It's Arteta. Hank, listen, I haven't said Arteta in or Arteta out. I've been Arteta out since even before he got the job. I'm Arteta handcuffed.
Okay, so you need to be like Arteta neutral for this next season, and not be campaigning against him. Is what I'm saying. You can be like supportive without being outwardly like Arteta in. Like at the moment, I've gone from Arteta into Arteta like neutral. Like let's just he's earned his like chance this next season to
the reality
really show
is
us
that
what he can do.
No matter what we do or say, I understand that he will be here next year. I could see why there's a justification as to why he's here. Do I want him here? No. But guess what? We have to go again with the same manager because I understand.
Why don't you want him here? What's the reasons you don't want him here?
For me,
Yes.
listen, he's got what, 1 cup in his 5 years that he's been
Forget
here?
the cup.
One final,
the cup doesn't
2
justify you
semifinals,
staying. Okay.
2 semifinals. The 5 years prior, we've had what, 2 cups? How many semifinals? A lot more finals. So if we're looking at it like that, we've taken way too much time. He's halfway through Wenger's 9-year stint without winning anything, just 1 trophy. So we have another way to go. Guess what? Time flies. We're going to give him another season, then it's going to be 3 years. So my thing is, you deliver next year, or when Ancelotti does come in, we have to go ahead and move. 5 years for me is not good enough.
Yeah, I think that's
he's
fair.
won more
I
trophies as a player, as an Arsenal player. He's won more trophies too, playing than he has in 4.5 years with us as a manager.
By the way,
I don't rate him as a manager. That's it.
What you're saying can apply to this season. There is no reason for you to stay next season.
So if we'd have won the FA Cup this year, then everything's all right.
It's not all right because it's another FA Cup. We're the masters of the FA Cup, right? We're the massive FA Cup. If we would have gone ahead and he would have showed me his medal and he would have gone ahead and get us over the line against a Pep Guardiola, I think everybody here would say, wow, genius, masterclass. We have a juggernaut here, right? Juggernaut gets beat by Spider-Man in the comic books.
But that's the final boss.
All I'm saying is there has to be somebody that has to go toe-to-toe with a monster like that. How long do we have to give Pep his due just because he's Pep? He's the genius. I get it. But everybody needs to go ahead and have a downfall eventually. Now, whether Arteta or us, are we prepared to go ahead and do that? We will see. Like I said, he's got another year. And until then, if he reaches 4 finals and loses them all, he'll get another contract extension. That's how I think
we've all accepted that he's going to be staying next season. And I think it's the time to deliver. Now, we've said before, haven't we, that it's difficult to win the Premier League. It's difficult to win the Champions League. But Manchester City were out the League Cup this year and we didn't win it. We were in the Europa League for 3 years without Pep Guardiola. We didn't win it. So it isn't just City are here so we can't win anything. I don't agree with that. It's harder to win it. The competition's there in with us. 100% it is. But for me, it's difficult to accept that we weren't able to get across the line against Olympiacos and Villarreal and Sporting Lisbon. This year, I said fair play because Bayern Munich are a good side. Everyone laughed because they had Eric Dyer and Harry Kane's their only player, all that crap. That was nonsense to me. They're a good side. They didn't
Bayern are favorites. Come on, right? They have way more experience than you, Dan.
Exactly. Yeah. So I was okay with that one. And then obviously taking Arteta to the last game of the season, where I was let down was the domestic competitions, man. Domestic cups were a big problem for me. At least says, laughs and says, oh, actually, FA Cup, would that actually solve it? Do you know what? Actually, it probably would. Because for me, that's a trophy that we can actually look back on and go, right, now this team has won something. Winning breed confidence. Let's go again next season. And we weren't able to do that. We've come out of everything again. So I think finishing trophyless is disappointing, but I can understand context for this season. But I actually do believe there's only 2 managers that have beaten Pep Guardiola in England, Conte and Klopp. And they're elite level managers that have got a CV that's like, boom, I win stuff. And then you look at what we might have to do. Maybe we need a Jurgen Klopp to get us across the line after next season. And maybe that is Don Carlo.
You guys want to, from outside, even if you guys won the 2 cups, to be honest with you, that's not enough. I'm a foreigner, right? And I've been watching the Premier League since 2002 or something like this religiously, right? And I actually think a cup is not good enough for a big club. The FA Cup and the Carabao Cup, they're not good enough. You need to aim to win the Premier League and the Champions League. You need to aim for that.
100% you aim for that. 100%.
So be honest, a manager cannot stay. Okay, let me just give you a hypothetical then. If Arteta wins the cup the next 3 years, but he doesn't win the Premier League or the Champions League, is that good enough for him to stay longer?
I think if you bring a trophy back every year, you can't really get sacked.
Really? Even a cup? Only a cup?
I believe that.
So 8 years at a club, 8 years at a club winning cups then? You think that warrants you to stay at the football
You're
club?
always going to have that question mark to get us across the line in the Premier League or in a major.
I wouldn't do that for my, by the way, for people that accuse me, right? It's also different. I wouldn't do this for my club. If my club only wins the cup every year, that wouldn't be enough. I want it for my club and Arsenal. I'm not going to tell you how you guys.
Would you take five cups in 5 years or one league in 5 years?
Where are you in the league? For context,
where are you in the league?
And
context. My point about this, Dan, is that at the end, I believe cups. Thomas Tuchel won the win cups, right? Other managers win cups.
He won the Champions League.
I'm talking. The Champions League is different as well. If you win the Champions League, you're warranted to stay. That's the Champions League. That's the big one. The Champions League for me is, you deserve a statue. The Champions League is bigger than the league, in my opinion, right? Because it's the continental dominance. But you cannot just stay at a football club as big as Arsenal with only winning the cup, with all due respect. If you consider yourself a big...
Where do you finish in the league? Do you finish where do you finish in the league if you just win a cup? Do you challenge for the title?
If my manager keeps winning cups, and I said that about my manager, he keeps winning cups, super cups, or whatever. If you don't win the league, I don't consider myself a big club if I don't win the league or the Champions League. You keep changing. But there is a calculated risk and an uncalculated risk. This Arteta staying, it looks like a calculated risk. My problem with it is that what Lee just said all the time. It's Pep Guardiola, it's Pep Guardiola, it's Pep Guardiola. But yet the question is, should you just accept it?
To see as well, Mo. Like, then with a bit of luck, they won't be around after next year. Like once it's all sorted.
But there is a rumor he stays, Lee. That's the problem. He might stay for 2027.
If he wants to stay in the conference, good luck to him. You know what I mean? Like that's up to him, isn't it? I bet he don't. I bet he don't stay around.
He won't. If they get charged, he won't.
Arsenal have gone through this. Arsenal built the stadium to compete with Man United, right? And that's how it was. Go back, forget about anything else. That's what it was. Arsenal, Man United, back in there. Then Chelsea come along with all their money and everything like that, changed the complete landscape of football. Manchester City have changed it a completely different way again. That's how it is. And people say, people go lowering the standards because you want Mikel Arteta to do it. You know what I mean? How long have you been supporting Arsenal Football Club to say lower the standards? When I started supporting Arsenal were never likely ever or looking like winning a league. Cup side at the best, right? That all changed when George Graham come along, right? But all these idiots in the saying about it and all that, I go into it. He won a League Cup first of all, then he won it in '89. He lost it in '90, right? And then I guarantee all those people would be going, oh God, you only just won the league. You should have won the league in '89, but you got it by a goal difference. Now you've lost it against Liverpool. The following season we won it again. You know what I mean? You've got to have a bit of patience and a little bit of realism of where Arsenal are. They've never been a team that's been a serial title challenging side through the history of this club. Look at what we're seeing. Manchester United have won more Premier Leagues than us, right? The same Premier, I think they've won 13 Premier Leagues. But we've had 13 titles across the whole process. It's not all about that. I get what everybody's saying. Yes, Arsenal should be winning trophies, but there's no divine right that Arsenal Football Club should go and win a trophy, a Champions League or a title. There ain't no, you know what I mean? Challenge, yes, definitely challenge. And at the end of the day, I love it when fans go, "Cool, you failed again, didn't you?" Right? Manchester United fans telling me that we failed this year. Chelsea fans telling me we failed. I had a Tottenham fan say to me yesterday, "I bet I'm in a better place than you today." I said, "You're in a better place than me. Why is that?" Well, coming second. I said, "It's just 2 weeks ago wanted your own team to lose. Don't tell me you're in a better place than Arsenal." We're in a good place at the moment, but we're not quite there yet, and we're trying to strive for it. And whether Mikel is the man or not, I ain't worried about that. I don't care if Mikel is the manager of this football club or not. I ain't got no loyalty to that. What I have the loyalty is Arsenal winning games of football. 2-3 years ago, under the great Emery and Arsene Wenger towards the end of the season, I was going to Liverpool, Chelsea, you know what I mean, with a tin hat on, hoping that we ain't going to lose by 3 or 4. I go to every ground now thinking that we're going to win games of football.
Yeah, I was going to say that about fighting Pep is he's the final boss, but you don't actually fight him directly. The whole league is about beating everyone else, right? And Liverpool used to talk about us. I remember HUSAM saying, "Oh, Arsenal, easy 6 points every season, easy 6 points." We used to give up to these guys and get smashed, and now we haven't lost to any of them for the first time in as long as I can remember, and that's 25, 30 years of watching Arsenal. So you have to make these changes to get even anywhere near the final boss, and then you have to beat the final boss. And that's the last step for me.
Listen,
that's a great point. Someone just said in there, like, if Man United win the FA Cup, they had a better season than Arsenal.
No, they didn't.
You know they get that trophy, the better season than Arsenal trophy. It's the only one that exists.
Nah, I don't think so. That's why it depends.
Because
but to be honest, what Lee, what you said is very dangerous. What you said, Lee, is very dangerous. What you said.
What?
You literally, because what he said is know your place. Arsenal.
Hey, you said know where you come from.
Yes, that's very dangerous. You know that. I'm not an Arsenal fan. If Arsenal fans feel that way, fair enough. We start treating Arsenal like this. Looking at the progress, you challenge, it's very good. And Arsenal aren't required to win. Like, for example, and I said that. I ask people all the time, do you think Aston Villa achieved this season or failed? 10 out of 10 people will say Aston Villa achieved, right? Because they weren't required to win the league. They aren't. They made their goal. They achieved their goal.
Top four is not a trophy.
The question is, have Arsenal achieved their goal this season?
No.
That's the question.
No. Winning the title was the goal this season, and it'll be the goal again next season.
All right.
And it's like if you aim for the treble and you get the double, that's different thing. Like, I want Arsenal to win the. I never thought Arsenal. 5 years ago, I probably had this conversation with Dan. I said Arsenal never going to win a league again when Chelsea and Man City were in there. I said we're never going to win it again. I've got a belief, right, that we can win it now. I actually thought at one stage this season we was going to win the league. I didn't think it the other season, right? I didn't think it was the other season, but this season I felt that it was. And these people going about trophies. People still wanted Arsene Wenger sacked when he won the FA Cup. Let's get that right. You know what I mean? And he come fifth. Yes. That wasn't good enough, right? What do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, and we was all in that boat. We was all in that thing. Like, you know what I mean? I believe now that Mikel has got to sit down and he's got to say, right, we need to win. We need to get some trophy under the belt, right? But I guarantee you, every one of the week we'll go and Wenger out. Arteta out. If Mikel wins the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup this season, right, and comes fifth, they still want him sacked. They go, he ain't got Champions League this season. He ain't won the league. He's won 2 trophies. You know, I mean, you're never going to win. There's always, we want to get better. There's always going to be higher and everything like that, you know. I guarantee if Arsenal win 2 FA Cups on the trot and don't compete in the league, they'll be on it. And I can tell you this now, Manchester United might win the FA Cup this season, but I guarantee that manager will be sacked at the end of it. Because why? He's not competed for the title and he's not got in the top 4. The last 2 years, I've not celebrated top 4. We celebrated top 4 for a couple of years back and all that. No Arsenal fan has celebrated top 4 this year. Why? Because we want bigger and better things. And that is challenging for the title and hopefully winning it. But I tell you what, to come second, you've got a chance of getting first. No team other than Arsenal had a chance of winning the league, apart from Manchester City on Sunday. Manchester United that spent thousands. Chelsea, their midfield is worth £300 million. Didn't challenge. Tottenham, they challenge in October. Liverpool didn't challenge this season. Where are they all?
No
And
way.
do you know what? They've won 4 trophies, and everybody is going, Arsenal bottled it. Arsenal are the team that bottled it, like, you know what I mean? Like, well, you know, not talking about how great Manchester City were.
Also, you got to look at what's happening with other clubs. Like Chelsea's had 7 managers in 8 years. If you keep sacking managers, you go back to the start. You know, it's like you don't collect $200, you go straight to jail. And the selection out there is terrible. It's absolutely terrible. Like the names that I'm seeing, some of them I've never even heard before. I'm like, people are just making up these names. They're going to be the next manager of Chelsea Football Club, supposedly one of the biggest football clubs in world football. I can't believe it. It's crazy. You end up with Southgate or something, and then Ten Hag's going to get sacked.
Thing is, mine as well with Liverpool. People will say like Liverpool, they went up against Klopp and they were up against Pep and they were coming. What Klopp did was he made Liverpool really, really dominant in terms of all 4 competitions.
Exactly that.
Take it very, very seriously, and that's what I want Arteta to do, man. If we can't win the league, you don't get sacked if you don't win the league. But what Klopp did was he was literally taking them to Champions League finals, winning them Champions League finals, League Cups, FA Cups. He's won everything in the game, Klopp. That's what Arteta needs to do, man. He's got to get us across the line. So when people say to me, well, what happens if he wins a league or an FA Cup next season? You know, he's got to go and win trophies for me now. Because when you've had everything your way, all the money, 4.5 years, backing from everybody, the majority of the fan base on your side, and I know Martin says that people have been asked to him, and trust me, they have. Trust me, they have, right? But most, I would say, of the 4.5 years, he's had at least 75% of the backing of the fans on his side. I think there's been a slim minority that are against what Mikel Arteta was trying to do. And I was in that minority, to be honest with you, for a lot.
Yeah, but the majority's silent, unfortunately. So they just sort of sit there and don't say anything. But the minority is very loud against the manager.
Well,
I think the majority has been giddy all season, man, since he's been here. So I don't know what you're referring to, Martin. You could definitely hear the noise from the majority about Arteta in.
I think they're just enjoying the season, you know? It's a lot of Arsenal fans have never seen a title race before. I mean, some have been falling for 20 years.
You know what? It's a great point because my mate said this the other day, like, and hear me out when I say this. He has said nothing, right, about Havertz, right? Nothing. You know what I mean? And then when Havertz has done had a good season, he's turned around to me the other day and he's gone, yeah, you know what I mean, always backed him. I said, well, I don't know. You never said nothing.
No, you didn't.
You never said nothing. You know what I mean? You've kept quiet. You know what I mean? Like, you've never had an opinion when he was good or when he's bad or whatever. But now, so there is a lot of silent people out there that, you know, and I admire anybody that, you know, like people in the chat that don't want Mikel, that they're big enough and brave enough to put it out there, and the same vice versa. But there are a lot of people that are very quiet. And then when it's I've always said Mikel was the right man. No, you haven't. You haven't said a word to me. We know who they are, Dan. You know what I mean? Like that do that.
No, but opinions change with circumstances. None of us, listen. When Mikel Arteta was hired, and then the first 2 seasons, I thought, oh, this guy doesn't know what he's doing. Keep changing from back 3 to back 4. He doesn't know who to play right center back, left. You remember Tierney, left wing back?
Well, I think we know why we had to play 3 at the back. I mean, that was
my point about this is that none of us see Arsenal here today. And I guarantee you, there is not even one person in the fan base that thought Arsenal will be last day of the season in 2024 and City shit in their bed when.
I think Martin definitely was one of them.
Nobody, no one. I promise you, no one.
I never
when the
thought
guy
it would
was
be.
getting 8, right? When the guy was losing games, people thought, oh, you don't know what you're doing, right?
Even when we bottled 5th.
But now people are saying
But
now,
of course.
okay, you have a system. You got 4 points of Liverpool, Man City, right? You reach the quarterfinal of the Champions League, right? But my point, the whole point
You
of
made
the
Kai
debate,
Havertz look like a good signing. You made Raya look like a good signing. Like all the stuff we get attacked
I
for.
actually still think, yeah, Havertz delivered up top, but that shoehorning in the Mitchell in the beginning of the season, I can look at this and say, you really didn't know what you're signing because you used him in the wrong place completely.
Can't you just
Well,
also
I'm
say
not
that
going to
he's a
argue
new
this
player,
now.
like
This
at a
would
club?
be a completely different show, Martin. My point about this is that when does it stop?
Never.
When does it stop? There has to be a point where we say, all right, now, you built the team. You're a fantastic manager. I need to win now. Okay, what is happening here? When?
This season.
Nobody can tell me what
It's
is the
coming.
threshold. Why it's next season? Why it wasn't this season?
Because he's worked so hard to get to this point. Like, you have to be completely realistic about the amount of points that we've achieved. And that's something you can't take away from him. It's not the title, but it's definitely like 30 or 40 more points than we've ever got before, like under these kind of
And I'll
conditions.
give you a hypothetical. 95 points next season, Champions League final, right? But you don't win either.
I can't defend him at that point.
Progress.
I can't.
It's a massive progress.
I think it's progress, but it's not up to me anymore. Like, I can't fight the fight. Actually, if people want to sack him, let's go. I'll become the next manager out instantly.
Mo, I've seen this before, Mo. I've seen this before where our best talent then gets poached elsewhere. And that's what I don't want to happen again. When our VP left to Man United, it tore my heart out. And I said, that's it. We are completely done. And guarantee you, if we go ahead next season and hit all those 4 finals and everybody calls it a progress, our players aren't gonna want to be here anymore. Players like Saliba, definitely, the way he was treated in the first couple of years for him going out on loan would be the first one, in my opinion, to go. And Real Madrid would definitely be looking for somebody because Alaba is on his way out. Rudiger is getting age, right? The other one, the Brazilian guy, he keeps on getting injured. So they're going to look for somebody. Gabriel. Listen, Saudi was poking around earlier this season. So what pisses me off is that I've been here before, just like you gentlemen, and I don't want that to happen because, like you said, it took him 4 years to get here. Great, all good and well. Win us something so the boys can stay, so that we don't have to talk about actually getting a winning manager to go ahead and. What was that?
That is so true, Kappa. I'm with you because we might think it might be harsh to sack Arteta. It might be the players won't. They'll think we ain't going to win anything here because Man City are here and we can't. I'm off to Real Madrid where I can go and win something in that Liga. Because footballers want their career to have a CV that says I win. They don't want. We did well at Arsenal and we all had fun and we got a dog called Win. They want to have a CV that says I go and win. So
I want a dog called Trophy. Champion.
I will say something. Right? How did Arsenal do last season? Did you think they fell off a cliff last season?
I think the mentality wasn't there, and the legs weren't in the midfield. Absolutely.
Right, so let's say blew it last season, but it didn't stop Declan Rice coming, did it? This season?
Nope. No, absolutely not. No. But that's not what we're saying, though, Lee. I'm not saying.
No. But like, I see what you're saying, and I agree with you. Like Arsenal, like there's going to be a time where if they're not going to do it, they're going to be.
That's what we're saying. Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, at this moment in time, when Van Persie left, was we second in the league and 2 points off of the team at top? No, we wasn't. We was languishing in 4th place and with no ambition. Realistically, you know what I mean? Like, you know, selling players left, right, and centre. I don't think we're in that position now. Like, I think that we'll go again. I think that we're bringing players. And what's great about it is that the players are all on board on what's ever going on. They've all signed long-term contracts. They believe in what's doing. And if you can get someone like Declan Rice after what happened last season, what can we get this season? We've just missing out just. You know.
Can I give you guys a hypothetical situation? Next season, we don't win anything. We get 95 points most scenario. And then Pep leaves. And we sack Arteta. And then Arteta goes to City. And then Arteta starts winning every league and Champions League on our head tops. How would you feel about that? Because it's very likely to happen.
They could poach him after.
That can happen. I see it happening.
I actually don't think he would.
That would be hilarious, but bad.
I don't think he would leave Arsenal for City, but I think if we sacked him, he would go City because I think he does love Arsenal.
Yeah, great point.
I think he would go to Barca, to be honest, but that's just me.
I think if City come calling for him, he'll go. The guy stayed 3 years training under Pep Guardiola there. He knows everything. Let me do these super chats. Aya saying to the whining gunners, football isn't for you if you're going to be this emotional, immature, as if trophies are all right.
Come on now.
But this is wrong. But teams like Arsenal should demand to win trophies. Arsenal, Man United, Chelsea, the big teams should demand.
That's how I fell in love. That's how I fell in love with the cannon.
All the standards in this club. It's Mikel Arteta.
Gargamel is saying, where does this sense of entitlement come from? Some Arsenal fans are delusional. We are not Real Madrid. Again with this, what you are telling me with the super chat is that Arsenal fans should accept where they are and just be happy. This is not the mentality of a big club. I'm sorry. This is wrong.
I'm not happy. Who said we're happy? I'm not
I'm not
happy.
saying you, but
People are
he's saying.
confused by it.
But the super chat is saying. He's not talking. The super chat is saying that Arsenal fans need to know where they are. Who they
No,
are.
but
I'm
okay,
bloody
there's-
gutted after Sunday, like, you know what I mean?
There's-
You know, I'm gutted, like, you know, and we haven't won it this season, like, you know what I mean?
But there's
I'm not
subtlety to that. We're not Real Madrid. People need to understand. I mean, you might have a second team that's Real Madrid, and you can go and support them whenever it's convenient to like claim their UCLs. But we're Arsenal Football Club. We're kind of like the underdogs in almost every scenario. That's why I started supporting Arsenal, because we were fighting Man United, and they're in the situation that Man City are now, where no one could see how anyone could stop them, and they were getting the best players, and we stood up. We're David. Okay, we're not Real Madrid.
No one
We're
asking
not
Arsenal to be Real
state
Madrid.
sponsored.
Okay, here
We
is the
don't
difference.
have all the resources.
Yes,
We just
here is the difference between Real Madrid and Arsenal. Okay, if you're a manager of Real Madrid and you win the league title, if you don't win it for 2 seasons, you're getting sacked. You know, guys know that, right? This is just a given at Real Madrid.
Mhm.
And the Arsenal fans just asking for some trophies. They're not asking for dominance. Nobody's asking you to dominate Europe and the league.
no, but some trophies isn't enough. You can't just get a Carabao and an FA Cup and go, that's good enough.
That's the opinion. But listen,
We've raised the standards.
yeah.
I want us to be dominant over the next few years with the players that we've got.
I agree with that. I agree as well.
Let
Hey.
me finish this super chats before Lee comes in, and then because
Big up, Lee, hermano. Dímelo, papi.
Klopp 1 out of 9 Prems with 5 world-class players. He underachieved. We all said that. No, he underachieved. Everyone said that. And I told Husam this to his face, by the way.
I didn't
Mookie,
say
big up
underachieved.
everyone. I said it, but I'm not shy to say. If my manager won 1 league title in 9 years, I would have sacked after the 5th.
But in the
Mookie, big up everyone. Let me just finish this. Bjorn is saying a sporting director is really important position in an evaluation and quality. Squad depth, win trophies. Arsenal need an experienced striker, in my view. They do need a good transfer window to be able to keep it up. 100%, you're right. Edu has done an okay job lately. Not bad. Akash is saying if Arsenal get a proper sporting director, Arsenal win the Premier League. Simple. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. It's not all on Arteta. The institution called Arsenal should work in unison to win the title. Liverpool and City do that. I don't know what that means, to be honest. Someone knows what that means? What does that unison mean?
Together.
Unison,
They work
like,
together behind the scenes, the board. And
But they are working. They are building a team. Anyway, listen, we don't got a lot of time. I know Martin has to go, and I got to go in 20 minutes. Lee wanted to come in and have a couple of says, if anybody's okay with
you
this.
invited me, so thanks for inviting me on, because you wanted to...
I texted you and I told you, instead of commenting on the chat, please come in and have your say, and instead of spamming my chat with your comments. So
Okay, well, first and foremost, thank you. Big up to everyone on the panel. Yeah, big up to everyone
in the chat. Come and have your say.
Going up as well. You're nearly on 21k, so keep shining.
Thank you. With
And,
your support, of course.
Yeah,
Thank
listen, I think too many people have got invested in the league is the only trophy we can win. Yeah, this manager won the FA Cup, beating Pep. This narrative that nobody can beat Pep is rubbish. Yeah, Southampton beat him last season with an interim manager, otherwise they would have done a quadruple. This season, Newcastle knocked him out. If you go back and look at their treble season last season, we put out a team at the Etihad and feeble performance and got knocked out 1-0. They went on to win the cup against a Man United team. Then if you look at their Champions League campaign, they beat your club Inter in the final. If Lukaku weren't a donkey, that ball was going in. It hit him. Yeah, so that makes the time. You never know. Yeah, if you look at the league last season, we were 8 points clear, and our CEO sat on Sky Sports on the 12th of January telling the world top 4 was the aim this season. Last season, obviously, yeah. That is where the problem is for me. Yes, people can. I always mention Madrid. Why? Because they've got an elite mentality. Man City, elite mentality. Every time you hear Khaldun Mubarak speak, he strives for excellence. We want excellence at every level. When you hear Josh Conkey speak the other day, we're proud of what we're achieving. Bro, you ain't won nothing for 4 years. What are you achieving? Now, every time you open up your phone and go on the internet, you're bombarded with constant PR for a manager who's won nothing for 4 years. I've never seen a more protected manager in world football. Yeah, 700 million or 600 million, whatever he spent. We still ain't got a backup to our centre-backs that's adequate. We still ain't got a left-back because he farmed our best left-back out. Yeah, and I see Lee said earlier that, I think it was Lee, no, maybe it was Turkish, sorry, it was Turkish, saying that he's only played 13 games this season, started 13 games. That's because the manager's benched him all season and he's been fit. Yeah, players, there's favourites at this football club. Bukayo Saka can never get dropped. Yeah, Reece Nelson played against Fulham on the left wing, put in a great performance and got hooked. Saka dropped a stinker and stayed on all game. Yeah, we've got no backup to Declan Rice. We've got no backup to Martin Odegaard. We've got a goalkeeper that is he better than the one we sat on the bench? Well, I don't know. It's a much of a muchness. I prefer Raya, but he ain't world class. We ain't got a world class player. Yeah, and then when you look at the money we've spent, and people keep saying about Klopp, well, since Klopp's been in this league 9 years, we've outspent every club in it. Literally every club. Since 2008, we've outspent Real Madrid. Facts. Yeah, everyone keeps going on about, oh, we can't beat Pep. Well, he won in the Europa League. We was for 3 years with this manager. He lost to Olympiacos Villarreal. How many times is he going to keep losing to our former manager, by the way? I think that's 3 out of 5 times now, right, with 2 different clubs. He won a trophy. What phase is he in? Yeah, and I heard Lee say this, and I want to ask you this, Lee, yeah? Right, you said earlier that if Pep goes, they'll get somebody just as adequate and just as good. So who's that guy, and where do we get him from then? Because if they've already got that guy lined up, where do we get him from?
They go for. That's what I reckon they go for, like, and that's an unbelievable.
I'll
tell you what, like, no one 2 minutes ago, people are going, "Oh, when will Arteta go? Or we go Barcelona, or we go Real Madrid?" He's that crap that he's going to go to. He's going to go either Madrid, Barcelona, or City. Like, you know, that's it. Listen, Lee, you make some great points. I'm not saying that Arteta's perfect, because he far away he's not. And I'm with you on the Raya situation as well. There's certain things that he's done wrong. But at the end of the day, we pushed Manchester City, who won the treble last season, all the way to the title. Could have won it at the end of it, but that's not good enough. That's not good enough.
But it is for most of our fans, Lee, and that's my point. Yeah, because last season we were 8 points clear, and we didn't buy a single player in January. Right now, this season we started off slow. We brought in that German giraffe, who, fair play to him, he's actually had an all right season. But if we had put him up front for the season instead of wasting him in midfield for 20
Lee, right. I've said that. Like, I've said that. One of the things
got no backup
is the Community Shield.
He doesn't rate Etihad. He doesn't rate Vieira. On Nenny, we got conned that he was going to stay for one more season and signed a new deal because we're fast tracking him to be a coach at Arsenal. He played 95 minutes and walked out for free. He's played 95 minutes all season. He's gone for free. So that was a lie. Everything about this club is false and lies. Yeah, and the narrative. Every time
people say we spent 700, right? How much is that squad worth now, right? That squad's got to be worth 1.1 billion.
Yeah, but that's not.
We talk about being worried about losing our players. For the first time, and as long as I can remember, someone's going to have to pay top dollar for one of their players if they want them. Like, even Martinelli, who's like got no form,
to buy proper players, because I don't. Look at the players we've signed. Right? Everyone keeps talking about how good a job Edu's done. Well, Nuno Tavares.
Hold on, Lee. I want to go back to your question. For all of this, what you say, Lee, is irrelevant unless people actually. I tell you why, Lee. Because at the end, you ask the question that nobody can answer. What should Arsenal aim for?
Trophy, any trophy, because I can answer it. I can answer that question. Yeah,
any trophy, or you gotta be like Man City, because Real Madrid won. I guarantee you, Lee. Let me just put it out there for you. If a manager comes into Real Madrid and win the cup 5 years in a row and don't win the league, they get sacked in the 3rd year.
Thank you. Why is that? Because they got mentality. We smashed the stadium down to be like them.
But the point is, ask Arsenal fans and they will tell you no. But you say you hold Arsenal to lower standard than Real Madrid. You say any trophy.
No.
You never mentioned the league or the Champions League.
Because you're twisting the narrative now. Real Madrid.
I am not. It's your words, not mine.
No. I didn't say 5 years straight. Yeah. But if they do win a cup 5 years straight, they've actually completed the aim of the game and won something. Yeah, all this opinions from any of us here and in the chat are irrelevant. They started handing out trophies and medals to the winner. I've frozen. I'll be back in 1 second. Flipping hell. Yeah, I don't know if you can still hear me, but they hand out trophies to the winner. Yeah, they don't hand out trophies for 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th. People have been conned into thinking that finishing 8th, 5th, 2nd is progress. You still didn't win the league. And what winds me up is everyone who says Pep, nobody can beat Pep. Well, if nobody can beat Pep, then why do we dismiss every single cup to try and beat Pep? Makes no sense. At least Man United have got 3 cup finals. Yeah, let's be real. They could win it. We can beat them in a final. Yeah, we beat Man United in a final. How did we compete with Fergie? How did Jose come in against the Invincibles in his first season and compete with Wenger and Prime Fergie? I didn't hear anyone waffling about Fergie back then.
So you're saying if we won an FA Cup this season, you'd be Arteta in?
Say again,
Lee, really quick.
Hold on, couple. Martin, can you ask again?
If we won an FA Cup this season, would you be Arteta in? Like you'd be back?
Yeah, I said at the very start of the season, if he ain't going to beat Pep, I don't care if we finish 10th and win the League Cup. A trophy is a trophy, and I've said this for every single club. And Mo, you know this. Dan, you know this. Neftali, you know this. All right, and anyone who watches my channel that's in this chat knows this. Yeah, I'll give any manager 2 years if they win a trophy. Yeah, and if Pep didn't win anything this season and then didn't win nothing next season, I'd expect him to be sacked. Yeah, because the aim of the game is to win trophies at big football clubs. Yeah, forget all these other clubs in different divisions, lower down leagues and all of that stuff. Right? The aim at elite level, the highest level, is to win trophies. Hence why when we all debate our clubs against Chelsea and Man United and all these other clubs, we debate them on trophies. Yeah, so then we can have the debate on what trophies we've won. And Chelsea will tell us they're bigger because they've got European cups. We'll tell them we're bigger because we've got more trophies. It all comes back to the predefined fact-based metric for success, which is trophies. And we're dismissing them left, right, and centre to go and beat a manager that apparently we can't beat. When we signed
trophies is a way of measuring what you've achieved, but it's not a way of measuring how good of a football team you've developed.
Well,
right? Would you take an FA Cup and finishing 10th and being nowhere compared to competing for the league and getting the Champions League?
We finished 12th in '93 and won the cup double. Does anyone care we finished 12th?
I mean, in that season, maybe they did. I don't know, but like,
nobody knows because
you need to make progress.
No, I'm gonna ask a question, Lee. Straight question, Lee. Would you rather be Arsenal at the end of last season or Manchester United?
Man United. They won a trophy.
And look at them now. That mentality from the
I don't know why you keep doing this, Mo, because you do this to me all the time as well, and you're smiling.
I'm telling you, bro. Because in hindsight, you know what? Last season, yes, but in hindsight now, Lee, when their manager is about to be sacked, they are in a shambolic state as a football club and as a team. You can't say that now. I know what, at the end of the season, yes. Me and you spoke about this.
There's people on this channel that have been to games. The two people sat either side of you have been to cup finals. Yeah.
Yes.
What's more enjoyable, lads? Winning a cup final or finishing second and winning nothing?
Listen, winning a cup is,
give me a trophy.
It is very enjoyable, like. But I'll tell you what, like, what also is enjoyable, Lee. Going like home and away every game, losing 5 games, or the Man United that have won the cup and losing 14 games. I get that. I get what you're saying. But at the end of the day, Arsenal at this moment in time going everywhere over the country. We've got a chance of winning games of football, and we are winning games of football, like, you know. And then and I totally agree with you. Like, it's been a fantastic season this season. It's never, if we'd have perhaps won the FA Cup and come 2 points shy of the title, that's a great season. I get what you're saying on that. I do. But I'd rather be like where we are, challenging, pushing, like, and missing out on the league by 2 points than winning a cup and losing 15 times and being spanked against Fulham and spanked against so-and-so, spanked against there. There's a fine line, and I get what you're saying. I get that. But at the end of the day, Arsenal are challenging for a title at this moment in time. It's not a trophy, I get that, but we're on the right place. And what we've got to do now is continue what we're doing on this path, but get some silverware as well. That's the thing that Arteta's got.
I agree that he's took us up to where we should be in terms of.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
However,
yes.
Yeah, we've all been there through the Wenger era, right? When Wenger first came in, right? Wenger came in. George Graham left the best back four in the league. Well, we've got the best defense in the league right now. George Graham left. Ray Parlour, Dennis Bergkamp, yeah, and Ian Wright. Yeah, that was a solid spine of players.
And he pushed it on. Is that what you did?
What Wenger done, he came in, he bought Vieira, he bought a couple of other players and Nelka and all of this, and bang, we flew. Right. So I don't understand why it's this manager that the process that doesn't exist, the never-ending process that's never going to come to fruition.
I totally agree, but he deserves a chance to do it for what he's done.
Let me ask you this then, lads, right? Because I know you've got to wrap up soon, Mo, and I don't want to keep
apologies.
And my camera's froze. I don't know what's happened to it, but anyway, yeah. How many more years do we go before it's deemed acceptable to want this manager gone for somebody else? And it's not gone as in like, let's all fight at the stadiums like Wenger in, Wenger out, all that crap. But there's got to be a time, lads, here where this is not acceptable. Real Madrid would not go 4 years without
I'll be really honest. I'm going to be really honest. If he won the FA Cup next season and we end up 7th or 8th in the league, that's me done with him. That's me done with him.
Judges, you mentioned
we've got to be challenging for titles.
Who do you want, Lee? If he goes, who do you want?
Klopp.
This question is very tough to answer because Xabi Alonso, he says he's going to go Real Madrid, but you never know what's going to happen. The market, Jurgen Klopp might be back, and Xavi might be available. You know, Simeone from Inter might be available. The market will change next.
The market's great, but people dismiss people that have got proven CVs for people that are in processes and phases, and it takes a whole 25-man squad of his own players. Yeah, when Fergie came in, it took 5 years, and what? Yeah, and what? Yeah, this manager's won 1 trophy in 4.5 years. Yeah, that's halfway to a trophy trial.
You know what though, Lee? The FA Cup was a saving grace for Fergie back then, and
exactly.
Let's be honest, the FA Cup was a lot more.
Yeah, because it's been dismissed, Lee, because the money has been killed the game. Because you can't do a cup double now. It's £7 million. You can't finish in the league. It's £7 million.
I know. I have.
So what really pisses me off, really quick.
But there is a question that I think it all comes down to this question, but I'm going to do this first. Aya, thank you for the big donation. There is a difference expecting trophies and demanding them. You cannot demand trophies because they are not a divine right. I'm baffled at why adults can't comprehend that you cannot demand results. You're not in total control over it.
No, I disagree with that, and I'll tell you why. We're the third biggest club in England. The third biggest club in England. In my lifetime supporting Arsenal, which is 36 years, of supporting this club, I've seen us win 17 trophies and lose 9 finals. So I've grown up on success, 1 trophy pretty much every 2 years. Yeah, Real Madrid keep winning and winning and winning. I've done since the 50s. Inter Milan keep winning and winning and winning. Why? Because they've got elite mentality. Man City are going to keep sweeping up the Premier League, and all the other cups until our fan bases of Man United, Chelsea, Tottenham, Liverpool get serious. Yeah, we've all got the money. Let's not pretend this club's skin. Yeah, but the way they've spent some of the money has been an absolute shambles. 35 million.
You think we've been a top club in the last 20 years?
Gets paid 80 grand a week. Why can't Vieira get a game? We've wasted 35 mil. Lokonga is 25 years old. People think he's 19.
But your board knew this. That's the thing. That's the thing. Your board knew they are getting someone who's learning on the job. They're all learning together.
Yeah, which is why I didn't want him. Because let's be real. Yeah, let's be real here. Yeah, you're coming into a club that have gone so long, right? Trying to get that manager out, Wenger. Right, then we got Emery out. Yeah, he never got back from day one. Yeah, I remember the Man City game. There was fans standing around me saying, "I don't want him here." Yeah, from day one. Which is why when people are sitting there saying nobody in world football is better than Arteta, there ain't no way in a billion years they're backing the next manager. No way.
Emery got back. It's just that he lost the dressing room.
But did he? Because how did he lose the dressing room? He was 8th in the table. Yeah, 11 and we had 23 games to go, and he was 6 points off.
The club never really wanted Emery. Of
course they didn't.
They didn't.
The last super chat, guys. 20 years in the there's another one after this. Who do you think we are, Lee? Lee literally answered this. He said he watched his team win 17 trophies. 3rd biggest club in England. So that's your answer there.
But that's disingenuous. We weren't a big club for the last 20 years. We didn't act
Arsenal have always been a big club. Lee's right. We are the 3rd biggest club in
but we were not at our level.
Manchester City and Chelsea have come in and changed the dynamics of that.
I have to.
Back to your point, really quick.
I gotta finish this, but I gotta do the super chat because I gotta respect the people. Let's stop this line. We all know that our team needs a major honor for us to compare ourselves with the big boys without debate. We have the most FA Cups, but we're still sitting not elite. More cups won't change that.
But real talk, but that comes from the only 2 things in a football club that can have the standards are either the ownership, like Roman Abramovich and Man City, right? And Real Madrid, Bayern are falling off a cliff, Barca are falling off a cliff mentality-wise. And if the ownership don't have it, then the fan base have to have it. When you haven't got either, because the fans are happy with 2nd, because it's progress, right? And the ownership are happy getting Champions League money again, then you end up 20 years without a title. Yeah, Real Madrid's fans booed their players off a pitch 7 days after winning a cup final. Yeah,
Lee, they're happy with beating our records. They're happy with beating our records. And back to Judge's point, you're talking about being consistent and bringing in trophies. I'm not just trying to win 1 trophy. I'm trying to have a legacy here where we can remember 3, 4, 5 years where we go ahead and at least take half of the trophies that are available. Because like you said, we're 3rd right now. But guess what? If Man City keeps on winning, we keep on allowing this. The rest of the league keeps on allowing this. We're going to go and turn it to 4th. So let alone losing our players, we're going to lose our place as a big club in the league. And that to me is even more stressful. That to me is a step backwards.
They'll overtake us on total trophies won. They're 3 titles behind us in our history. And they're two trophies behind us in total trophies. Chelsea are only 2 or 3 behind us. We can go from 3rd to 5th if Chelsea get their act together. Yeah. And fans are accepting it. Yeah, at the end of the day, Arteta's done well to get us into a position where we're now got a solid foundation there. Thanks, mate. See you later. Now go and get somebody who can win.
Get a winner that's gonna. Yeah.
Listen, guys, I gotta wrap it up here. I just want to say before we go on, Lee Judge's channel, Lee Judge's TV, it's in the description. They're going live at 4:30 UK time. Please go join the lads, Lee Judges and Dan Potts, of
We
course.
might discuss what's going on here.
And Lee Gunner channel, I added it in the description. He's on the way to 100K people. And also Lee Reacts. We want to get this channel to 50K. Brilliant content daily. The grind never stops with Lee, of course, with Dan Potts, 12-man podcast in the description as well. Great content daily. Lee Judges, of course, you see him on EFTV with Dan Potts and on his own channel, Lee Judges TV. I want to appreciate all of you. This has been absolutely legendary stream for me. Sorry I couldn't continue. Just going to go. This will take us to the football terrace. We'll discuss something completely different. We'll discuss Man United and Chelsea. And I appreciate everybody that watched us, everybody that super chatted us. Appreciate you guys. Hopefully we can continue this sometime later. And we'll see you guys soon. And we're out of here, people. Thank you so much. Appreciate everyone that is here. Thank you, Capo. Thank you, Martin, for joining.
Salute. Thanks for having me. It was a pleasure, fellas.